Cathie Wood from ARK might actually beat BlackRock to the ETF table. You're not going to believe this. It's really true. I'm going to go over that. Plus, I'm going to go over some more frightening news about the economy if you're not in Bitcoin. If you are in Bitcoin, you're going to get pretty darn excited. So let's get right into this. Now, as you probably have already heard, MicroStrategies has purchased an additional 12,333 Bitcoin worth $347 million. Now, the news was out saying, oh yeah, he just bought it. No, he bought it at like 28,100 and something. That was his average price. So yeah, he could have been buying it below and above, but you know, what that does mean is that that's usually a short-term top. That's what happens usually when Michael Saylor decides to say to the world, hey, look what we got. So yeah, so it's good to see the price coming down again. Okay, next we have the FTX is beginning the process to relaunch the exchange. Wall Street Journal just said this. Guys, if there's anything that we've been saying, please do not open an account on FTX. You've learned your lesson. Please don't have another lesson to be learned, okay? Don't get on the exchange. It's a scam. Let's go over to the Congressional Budget Office and see how they're doing over there. Well, federal debt is set to balloon in the long run. That's what the CBO warns from Wall Street Journal. Also, the U.S. debt as share of GDP will reach 181% by 2053. The CBO says, guys, that's going to happen much sooner than that. They know exactly what's going to happen. Inflation and M2 money supply, like I said yesterday, I showed you that chart. It's just ticking up now. Their money supply is going to be skyrocketing, all right? You've not seen anything yet. All right, now we have Cathie Wood's beating potentially BlackRock to the ETF table. Here's what happened. AB Abacus on Twitter says, update, earlier this morning, approximately 9 a.m., ARK Invest updated its Bitcoin spot ETF trust filing. Check this out. The update adds identical surveillance sharing language as it is found in the BlackRock filing. So pretty much copy and paste, right? Pretty good. The update puts ARK ahead of BlackRock in the race as first approval. Now, he also said, to be clear, procedurally, the ARK Invest 21 shares Bitcoin spot ETF is at least a month ahead of BlackRock on the SEC's calendar. So they could actually get this out a month before, which means that a lot of people are going to be rushing into that. And yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see, especially that, you know, all these different companies are getting these spot ETFs. That means they're going to be holding it. There's only 10% of Bitcoin in existence on exchanges. The rest are off exchanges. So this is going to be taking more and more off, which means the supply is going to be very low and the demand is going to be absolutely astronomical as all these corporations decide to buy Bitcoin. Next, we have, just speaking about BlackRock, we have that undercover journalist that went to a BlackRock recruiter that went on a date and they had this secret camera filming. And so he's talking about like buying off senators, right? These guys are effing cheap. You got 10 grand, you can buy a senator. So they're very cheap. These guys are, your politicians are essentially bought and paid for. We always say that, but now it's coming to fruition. And people know now that you can easily buy a senator, you can easily buy a congressperson, and yeah, that's the name of the game. You might be thinking, wow, only 10 grand? Well, think about it. This guy is from BlackRock. BlackRock goes to a senator. Well, keep in mind that that senator, his life will be at risk potentially if they don't go along with what BlackRock has to say. Keep in mind that BlackRock owns the banks and the Federal Reserve. They are all in collusion on one, so you better do what they say. Okay, lastly, let's go over to Cameron Winklevoss and see what he said on Twitter. Former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton describes the new and deeply un-American ethos of the SEC under Gary Gensler. If we are not losing cases, we aren't suing enough businesses. Yes, this is total abuse of power. They are in the business of making sure Wall Street is as powerful as possible, and they're doing a very fantastic job at kicking out businesses that might compete with Wall Street or the big banks. That's all I have. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.